Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have our friends in from the Salvation Army. Going to talk about the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. Joining me is this stellar employee, and he's probably more than that. Everyone in the world knows him down at the Salvation Army Rehabilitation Center, and that is Norm Mackenzie. Can I call you Norm instead of Norman?
Yeah, you call me Norm. That's great, Drew.
All right, I'm going to call you Norm over there, the Community Engagement Coordinator. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, Drew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. In full disclosure, I had this unbelievable tour by Norm a few days ago of the center, Otay Mesa, and this is impressive. And I encourage anybody who has supported the Salvation Army or is thinking of supporting the Salvation Army, you go down there, you'll see your money is well spent. That is quite an operation you have.
Yeah, Drew. You know, it's been at that location for about a year and a half now.
Right.
We were located downtown for the longest time, and we rebuilt a new center, 120-bed facility. And we had some folks that came out and toured that facility and said it's like the Four Seasons of recovery.
Oh, without question. It was just so well organized, beautifully kept. Everyone seemed to have a hip to their hop and so forth. And this one is focused on men only, correct?
That specific facility is men only, but we do service women as well. And one of the beautiful things is, and I'd love the community to know as well, is we're currently still working in the process and very close to building onto that 120-bed facility.
Nice.
30-bed place for our women.
No, that's
so
great.
We'll have that there as well coming soon.
No, I think that's going to be absolutely terrific. Of course, the organization was founded in 1865 in London, but you've been with the organization not quite that long, for what, 10 years, right?
Yeah, I've been here about 10 years. I came along in 2010.
And you got a story to tell because you went through the rehabilitation center, did you not?
I did, Drew.
Talk about that.
Well, Drew, I was brought up in a pretty good family, and my dad was a military guy. He's a 20-year Marine. He retired in 1974 in Camp Pendleton, and that's when we moved here. Had a pretty good life, but somewhere along the line, I got lost in drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And had a lot of struggles through the years. And what happened was in about the end of 2009 into 2010, I'd found myself homeless downtown and by the old library. Now there's a little place down there, and I was sleeping on a piece of cardboard with nowhere to go. I didn't have anything. I'd burned all my bridges. In addiction, that's kind of what happens when you go along that type of path. And, and I've had a lot of justice involvement, and so I was struggling. And one day on September 26, 2010,
it's got to be tough to talk about.
It can be, Drew,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. But I walked down to the Salvation Army on that day.
Sure.
Stopped using, and it took me 4 days to get in, and I was able to get in on September 30th, 2010. And my life has never been the same, man. I went through the program. I completed March 30th, 2011.
Wow.
I then I got a little job downtown there, and we have a bridge house. So once our guys complete, they can go to a bridge house and continue to stay connected to our center, which even helps their recovery process even better. And I did that. And then I had an opportunity to come back into the center as an employee. And so I came back into the center as an assistant resident manager for a year. I got promoted up to the resident manager for another year. I then went from the house, I moved back home, and then I was given the position of program secretary, and I did that for another year and a half. And then I got promoted again, and I went up to the intake coordinator. Now, I did that for about 4 years while I was going to school. I got certified as a substance use counselor. I got an associate's degree, and then I left for about a year and a half, and I went up to up north and worked in the prison system as a substance use counselor. But then there was something missing, right? I was like, my heart. I was like, we all have a calling, right? And so I had come back to San Diego through one of my brothers, who's our administrator there, Captain Paul Swain, and he offered me some things there that I couldn't refuse. And I came back this March, and now I'm the community engagement coordinator. I think it's the 5th position I've held there at that center, and it's been a blessing. And now I'm working towards a bachelor's degree in communications. I'm right in the middle of it. Got about a year left.
Congratulations. Well, where are you getting that?
At Grand Canyon University, GCU.
Beautiful. Sure. Well, listen, that's warms my heart because I got a journalism degree at San Diego State, and now they call it communications. What a perfect position for you. Granted, we've only known each other for a little while, but you're just so perfect for this community engagement coordinator position. We're talking to Norm Mackenzie, who had gone through the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. How long does it take to go through that?
It's a 6-month program. It can stay up to a year, but to complete our program, it's 6 months. And then after that 6 months, you can apply for a reentry phase, and at that point, you continue on with your program. And we have board members that are a part of our center. There's like about 10 of them. They're really great. They come down. We have one of our board members, Dr. Carla Fox, who's our chair and been there for a long time. And then another guy named Dave Robbins, who's a big vice president at Leidos over here in Scripps, and they do a lot of stuff for us. And he comes with another guy with Herb, and they come down and they teach these reentry guys how to do resumes and how to get on the internet and do certain things. Because some of these guys, they may not even know how to do that or have been do that because they've been struggling either in county jails or prisons or on the streets, and they come to us for a new life. And once they complete and they come into that reentry phase of our program, and that's where that new life begins, right? And now they come out and they go back out into the community as productive community members, right? That can then serve the community and help others. And our board members I'm so grateful for them because they help us in such a dear way.
We're chatting with Norm Mackenzie. He's the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. I am Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. I was always so impressed when that tour you gave. And again, I'm really going to encourage our listeners or those who have contributed to Salvation Army or are thinking of contributing to really go down there. Norm will give you the tour, or there'll be some others on this. Just got everything is just so well organized. You got people humming and going and all that. But what surprised me was that there's really not a waiting list for the 120 beds.
No, actually, not currently. We
Correct.
currently
Not
have
currently. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Well, we currently have I think after today we'll have 112, 113 folks there.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with about 7 or 8 beds. And,
Right.
It's going back and forth with that. It is rehabilitation. So we're always here to support and help. And even if it gets full, I can tell you that my captains at that center, my administrators, Captain Paul and Captain Jennifer, we look for options to be able to continue to help them even if we're full. So, we're always going to be there to support.
Now, is there a vetting process? So let's say, you're getting the names from people that are transitioning out of jail or other centers. How do you get the names? How do they come to you?
Well, there's a lot of different ways they come to me. A lot of the public defender of San Diego County. I work with a big public. I work with them a lot. We do assessments and they bring them to us. I have a good relationship with them, with probation, parole, and some of the federal agencies as well. But I go out into the community. And I do these pop-up events with a lot of the homeless outreach folks that are different organizations, the San Diego County, the RTFH Homeless Task Force. We just had this big conference last week. And a lot of those folks, we go out and we do outreach with these folks and we offer them, hey, we got an option for you. You don't have to live out on the streets. Here, why don't you come here? And that's how that works. And, I've really connected myself in a lot of the different areas within the community. I go into the jails and do assessments to try to help folks. And when they want to get some help and we work with the courts, they come to us and that's where I get them. And just they come from everywhere, actually.
Yeah. No, listen, when we come back from break, I want to chat a little bit more about the center itself. More importantly, what our listeners can do to help support your efforts. Obviously, donations never hurt, all right?
Yeah.
And if there's events you put on, volunteering, and even doing a little bit of an exchange here. Based on our meeting, I brought some clothes for you to take with you. And so certainly there's a bunch, we'll talk about the thrift centers if we can as well, and whatever else we can do to help support your efforts. How's that sound?
Sounds great, Drew.
Yeah, we're going to be right back with Norman Mackenzie. He is the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years. We'll be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diegans for more than 60 years. We're having the pleasure of chatting with Norm Mackenzie, a Community Engagement Coordinator for the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. And so we were talking about before, just so impressive, the center. You've gone through the Rehabilitation Center when it was downtown, not when it was at Otay Mesa. But now involved for 10 years in this area. Talk about how important volunteerism. Do you use a lot of volunteers at your center?
We have some volunteers, mostly our board members that are coming and supporting at this point. Yes, that's mostly where it is. And, we have a lot of, we have 7 stores. In the community,
Gotcha.
Drew. And so those 7 stores are what drives the center. See, because one of the coolest things about the Adult Rehabilitation Center is it's no cost. You just got to have a willingness to come down and change your life, and we're going to help you out, right? And so these stores that are out there, we service them through that big center, because that's where our big distribution center is. And where all the donations come from our trucks into the community. They flow into that center, and then our folks help process that stuff, and then it gets out into the stores, and that's what generates the funds to keep the doors open. And so, donations from within the community or community members being of support in many different ways is always a big plus and a key to help us keep those doors open so we can continue to serve the county with help with rehabilitation.
Right. Do you guys have events? Do you put on fundraising events at all?
Yeah, we have a fundraiser. We have big alumni events. We have like an alumni chapel every Wednesday where all our alumni come back and we celebrate that. They're a part of the chapel service, and the new men and women that are there get to see that. We've had events there that also, we just have an alumni events, and we invite our community partners down. They come in, we go out back, we have a big, shindig there. And, one of the things that we got some really great stuff coming in this new year, Drew. And some of those things is a new a movement that we're going to call. Let's call it a chance to. And so it's just something that's beginning to be in the works, and I'm hoping, the San Diego ARC is going to be a part of that, and I'm really looking forward to that, and a lot of those things, because what you see is folks that, they might have a chance. So did they have a chance? Did they have that second chance to, see their grandmother or be with their children, Or, how about a second chance to go to school like I got, right? And that's what the ARC does. But it needs the help of the community. It needs the help of those donations that flow in. So your clothings, this is Christmas time. You want to, do you need to clean out your closets with your stuff to be able to bring to the center to make room for new stuff? We're there to help and accept those things.
Right. Now, do you offer different services? 120 beds. You got about 114 filled now, give or take, 113, whatever the case may be. And there's a prescribed program for them. They're working, in the warehouse, or they're doing some computer work if they want, or they're learning about a whole variety of things, correct?
Yeah, they're learning a whole bunch of things. And those are, we teach them, it's work therapy. It's called WTA, and we teach them habits. It's all about teaching them habits to be able to be back out there in the community. Because these folks, they come to us and they may haven't even know what work is, or they don't even know what it is to have any structure in their life.
Right.
And that's what that is. It's this 4 key components. It's program, residential, spiritual, and WTA. And that combination of those 4 is what makes our program so well and so successful for those that come through the program. Because once they finish, these are the best people that you want to be able to bring back out into your workforce, because they're there, they're committed, they understand about, hey, you have to get up and be on time to work, right? And you have to go and do these type of things. And so it's just an amazing program.
Right, exactly. How many of the folks like you who have gone through the program, the Adult Rehabilitation Center, are actually working for the Salvation Army?
I would say, if I were to just think in our center alone, when you came and toured, remember there was one gentleman there that I told you had been there for 22 years, and he's still there.
I know.
Same with his wife is still there. I would say, right now, I would say probably 90% of what's there in that, in as far as what's there on site. There are some in the stores as well, but it's a pretty high number.
And that's a great testament to, for many different reasons, of course, of people that, I'm not sure if this will work. Well, I went through it and I'm working. Oh, okay, that sounds great. And so many of you doing that. And do you keep track of the ones who've gone through the program and what they're doing now?
Yes, that's a lot of what that alumni chapel is about. And yes, we do invite them to alumni events all during the year, and invite them to all the places that we take our folks. Because as they participate in the program, Drew, is we take them places. Like this holiday season, they're going to have this great party that we're going to celebrate them. Right. We're going to celebrate them. Because what this is about helping others, right? That's what the Salvation Army is.
Right.
We're helping others find a new way to live. And that's what the ARC is. And so, yeah, we're just a big part of all that good stuff.
Well, and I think you and I may have chatted about this on the tour. I know I've said this multiple times on the community, or the Spotlight in the Community show, and that is whether it's working with the Salvation Army Rehabilitation Center or Second Chance or fill in the blank, other groups that are doing great work in this space. It's not just the person that you've turned around, it's their family as well. Because now that person is going to be doing great things. The family is going to be thrilled. They may be working with the family. Talk about how important that is.
That's so important, man. That reunification of the family is,
yes,
it's something else. When you see a guy come in my position now, I'm helping folks get in the program, and they call me and they're broken. And I had this one story of this one guy recently. He called me a couple times, and he was struggling, and I got a call from another provider, and they wanted to get him help. He was living in his van in Pacific Beach and drinking too much, and he was really sick. And so he had a challenge to be able to get to that point to where he could come in our program. Well, just recently, he was able to accept his 30 days of clean and sober in our program, and he's continued to move forward. And now he's beginning to reunificate and reconnect with his families who did not know they were there. And so I tell you, when somebody comes in, they're broken, they may not have their family, they may have lost all connection with their kids, they complete the program at 6 months, and they come to that graduation on Wednesday night, and you see their son or their daughter or their mom go up and pin them as they completed that program. That's it right there. And that's the reunification, and we reunite their families, and they can just go out there and back there and be productive, not only within the community, but with their family.
Yeah, if that doesn't give you goosebumps, then you weren't born without a heart on that. Norm Mackenzie, what a pleasure. Great content you provided. What can our listeners do to support you?
Well, what your listeners could do, I think, would be the best is, put the word out in the community. Let them know that there's a big center in Otay Mesa that's there to help them. All right, you can give them my information, my contact information. I'm here to support them and the community as however I can. And there are stores. We got our 7 stores. If they know folks that want to be able to donate things, clothing and items like that can help in our stores. That's what helps keeps our stores moving. But I think one of the biggest things would be I'm here to support them.
Right.
And so give them our contact information, and we're here to help the community out.
And what is that contact information?
Well, again, my name's Norm Mackenzie, and then my cell phone number is 619-365-7187. You can feel free to call that. My email address is norman.mackenzie@usw.salvationarmy.org. And my office number is 619-239-4037, extension 345. Contact me at any of those numbers, and I will get back to you. If I'm not able to help you, I will refer you somewhere where you can get some help, or how you can help the Salvation Army continue to help save lives.
Well, so no excuse, listeners. You got everything you need to know about Norm Mackenzie. Enjoyed the conversation, Norm. We know we'll have you back on. Maybe you can bring in a colleague that has benefited from the center, either someone that's currently at the center working, if that works for you, or someone who has graduated, and just talk about just the great work on it. We always love to show the street cred about it. You're a walking example of it for 85 different reasons, and nothing better than to change a person's life, and that's what you guys do.
Drew, I just want to thank you for having us on your show. This is a great pleasure and privilege to be able to be here, and I got just the person to bring next time.
I cannot wait to have you on that. Norm Mackenzie, again, the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Salvation Army Adult Rehabilitation Center. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diego for more than 60 years.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.